Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising and fascinating comparisons you'll ever hear in the world of aviation. On one side, we have the OV-10 Bronco, a rugged, light attack and observation aircraft that has its roots in the Vietnam War era. It's not fast, it's not stealthy, but it carries with it decades of history, utility, and a reputation for being one of the most versatile counterinsurgency aircraft ever built. On the other side, we have the J-10C, a fourth-generation plus multirole fighter jet from China, sleek, powerful, and armed with cutting-edge avionics and weapons systems. The Bronco is a workhorse from the past, while the J-10C is a symbol of modern air power and the future of aerial warfare. Now, you might be wondering, why even compare these two? One is a propeller-driven observation aircraft, and the other is a supersonic jet fighter capable of challenging some of the world's best. But that's exactly what makes this comparison so exciting. It's not always about speed or raw power, it's about what each machine represents, the roles they were built for, and how different nations have approached the concept of air superiority and support. So buckle up, because we're about to take a journey from the jungles and battlefields where the OV-10 Bronco proved its worth, to the high-tech skies where the J-10C is making waves in modern air combat. This is more than just a face-off of two aircraft, it's a story of evolution in military aviation, strategy, and technology. When we talk about the OV-10 Bronco, we're not talking about a jet designed to dominate the skies in a dogfight. We're talking about a machine designed for a very different purpose, supporting troops on the ground, scouting enemy positions, and operating in environments where bigger, faster jets simply couldn't do the job. The Bronco is a twin-engine, turboprop light attack and observation aircraft developed in the 1960s by North American Rockwell. And from the very beginning, it was built to be rugged, reliable, and incredibly versatile. The design itself is unique and unmistakable. Twin booms stretching out to the tail, a central fuselage pod with room for a pilot, a co-pilot, or an observer, and two Garrett T-76 turboprop engines that gave it a modest but effective speed. The Bronco wasn't about breaking sound barriers, it cruised at around 223 miles per hour, with a top speed just under 300. But it could loiter over the battlefield for hours, circle in tight turns, and fly low and slow, giving ground commanders eyes in the sky and instant close air support. Its mission profile was counterinsurgency, and in that role it excelled. During the Vietnam War, the OV-10 was used for forward air control, reconnaissance, and light attack. Its ability to operate from short, rough airstrips made it perfect for the jungles of Southeast Asia. It could carry rockets, bombs, machine guns, and even paratroopers in the rear fuselage compartment. It wasn't armored like an A-10 Warthog, but it could take punishment and still keep flying. In fact, one of the Bronco's strengths was just how adaptable it was. It could be armed for attack, stripped down for observation, or modified for roles like rescue support or even electronic warfare. Pilots loved the visibility from the cockpit. With its bubble canopy and high-mounted cockpit position, the OV-10 gave incredible situational awareness. For troops on the ground, the sound of a Bronco circling overhead meant they had a friend watching their back. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't high-tech by today's standards, but it was effective, and that's why it stayed in service with multiple countries long after the Vietnam War ended. Even in more recent conflicts, the OV-10 has popped up again. The US brought it back in limited use for counterinsurgency operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, where its ability to loiter and deliver precise strikes with minimal collateral damage proved valuable in environments where stealth fighters or heavy bombers weren't practical. Some Broncos were even upgraded with modern avionics and precision-guided munitions, showing that this old warhorse could still adapt to the needs of modern warfare. The Bronco embodies a philosophy of military aviation that focuses on utility, adaptability, and direct support. It wasn't meant to fight advanced enemy jets, it was meant to help win wars on the ground, where soldiers needed immediate help from the air, and in that mission, it carved out a legendary reputation. Now, let us fast forward from the 1960s Bronco to the modern age of fighter technology with the Chengdu J-10C. This jet is often described as China's answer to Western 4th generation and even early 5th generation fighters. It's sleek, delta-winged, with canards up front that give it both agility and a very distinctive silhouette. The J-10C isn't just another fighter, it represents China's leap into the modern age of air power, combining advanced avionics, powerful engines, and precision weaponry into a single multi-role platform. The J-10 project began in the late 1980s as China sought to build a homegrown fighter that could replace its aging fleet of older Soviet designs like the MiG-21 derivatives. The early versions of the J-10 were solid performers, but it was the J-10C variant that truly transformed the platform into something formidable. Equipped with an AESA radar, advanced electronic warfare systems, improved data links, and compatibility with some of China's most modern weapons, the J-10C is no longer just a regional fighter, it's a player in the global stage of modern aerial warfare. Performance-wise, the J-10C is in a completely different league compared to something like the OV-10 Bronco. Powered by the WS-10B engine, the aircraft can reach speeds of Mach 2, soar at altitudes of over 55,000 feet, and has a combat radius of more than 1,200 kilometers. That means it's fast, it's high-flying, and it has the endurance to patrol large areas or engage enemies far from its base. But speed is just one part of the story. What really makes the J-10C dangerous is its versatility. This is a multi-role aircraft through and through, capable of air-to-air combat, ground attack, and even anti-ship missions. It can carry a wide range of Chinese missiles, including the PL-10 short-range infrared missile, the PL-15 beyond visual range missile with an estimated range of up to 200 kilometers, and precision-guided bombs for striking ground targets. With its modern radar and electronic warfare suite, it can detect and track multiple targets, jam enemy systems, and survive in hostile environments where older aircraft would never stand a chance. The cockpit is also a huge leap forward, featuring advanced displays, hands-on throttle and stick controls, and a pilot-friendly layout that allows for high situational awareness in the chaos of combat. China has emphasized not just hardware but also software and networking, meaning the J-10C can link up with other aircraft, drones, and ground stations, becoming part of a larger, integrated system of warfare. In terms of design philosophy, the J-10C is all about giving China a capable, cost-effective fighter that can hold its own against rivals like the F-16, Rafale, or even upgraded versions of the F-15. It may not be a stealth aircraft like the J-20, but it doesn't need to be. It's cheaper, easier to produce in large numbers, and still advanced enough to dominate in many air combat scenarios. For China's Air Force, the J-10C is the workhorse of modern aerial dominance, filling squadrons with jets that are fast, flexible, and lethal. So while the Bronco was built to fly low, slow, and provide support in asymmetric warfare, the J-10C is designed for the high-tech, high-speed, contested air environments of the 21st century. One looks down into the battlefield to help soldiers on the ground, the other looks across the horizon to engage enemies before they're even aware of the threat. So here's where things get really interesting. On paper, the OV-10 Bronco and the J-10C don't even belong in the same sentence. One is a twin-prop counter-insurgency aircraft born in the 1960s, the other is a Mach 2 capable 4th generation plus jet fighter loaded with radar, missiles, and modern technology. It's like comparing a tough off-road Jeep to a high-performance Formula One car. They're both vehicles, but they're built for entirely different worlds. The OV-10 Bronco was designed to fight guerrilla warfare, to help soldiers pinned down in the jungle, and to fly from dirt runways just a few hundred meters long. It thrives in environments where flexibility, visibility, and endurance matter more than speed. Its greatest weapons were its ability to loiter overhead, spot enemy positions, and deliver timely strikes with rockets or machine guns. For ground troops, it was a guardian angel that flew low and slow, always within sight and earshot. Now compare that to the J-10C. This machine was never intended to fly low over treetops at 200 miles per hour. It was designed to dominate the skies, strike targets at long range, and challenge modern fighters head-on. Where the Bronco's weapons might be unguided rockets or small bombs, the J-10C carries beyond visual range missiles, precision-guided munitions, and advanced air-to-air weaponry capable of hitting enemies long before they can respond. Its radar can lock onto multiple targets dozens of miles away, and its speed means it can decide when and where to engage. But here's the beauty of the comparison: it shows just how much the role of air power has evolved. The Bronco represents a time when wars were about insurgencies, small battles in jungles and villages, where supporting ground troops was the key to victory. The J-10C represents a modern vision of warfare, where controlling the skies against powerful opponents, protecting national airspace, and projecting force across borders are the priorities. Put them head-to-head in a dogfight, and there's no contest. The J-10C would detect, engage, and destroy the Bronco before the Bronco's pilot even knew there was a threat nearby. The speed, altitude, and weapons gap is simply too enormous. But change the environment, say, a counter-insurgency campaign in rugged terrain where stealth jets are overkill and helicopters can't stay aloft long enough, and suddenly, the Bronco shines again. It can land on dirt strips, carry supplies, provide fire support, and stay in the air for hours at a fraction of the cost of a jet fighter. This is where the real lesson lies: different aircraft are built for different wars. The OV-10 Bronco is proof that sometimes simple, rugged, and practical wins the day. The J-10C is proof that modern wars require advanced sensors, missiles, and speed to survive in hostile skies. Together, they highlight two extremes of military aviation: one tailored for small wars on the ground, the other for high-stakes battles in the air. So when we ask, who would win, OV-10 Bronco or J-10C, the answer depends entirely on the battlefield. If it's sky versus sky, the J-10C doesn't just win, it dominates. But if the fight is about providing soldiers with air support in tough terrain, the Bronco still has a role to play, even decades after its first flight. At the end of the day, both of these aircraft tell their own story. The OV-10 Bronco reminds us that war is often fought up close, where flexibility and persistence matter most. The J-10C reminds us that control of the skies is still the ultimate prize in modern warfare. And together, they paint a picture of just how diverse, and how fascinating, the world of military aviation really is.